All right, so the Texans, as we know, resisted the noise, the negativity, the effort by someone to get C.J. Stroud to slip and slide and not be taken at number 2 or 3 or 4 or so on. It didn't work. The Texans held firm, and they took him. Yesterday, Cal McNair says that he and his wife didn't pressure the Texans in any way, shape, or form to take C.J. Stroud. Hannah and I don't make the picks. We'll make it clear there. Now, look, anytime an owner feels compelled to say that, I start to get suspicious because it should be implied. It shouldn't even need to be said that ownership is or isn't making the picks. But, again, you own the team. You have preferences. You have things you like. You have things you don't like. You have things you want to do. You have things you don't want to do. And the people who work for you, if they're smart, are going to at least factor in what they're picking up from you in making their assessment of what they should do with the draft picks held by the team that you own. I think it's ridiculous to assume that there's a firewall between ownership and the football operation when it comes to something that important. And if there is a firewall, they're doing it wrong. Because at some level, this is a business decision. This is a football decision. It's a business decision. It's a franchise decision. It is the kind of thing that alters the course of the business that the people own. You don't just go hide under the bed when this decision is made. You're involved in it at some level. And if you're not, you're doing it wrong.
Well,
now,
I
that
don't
doesn't
know
mean
if I
you should
totally
be saying,
agree with all that.
You should be. Look, if you're going to own the team, and
Why?
we've talked about this before.
Right. But I mean,
let me. There's a sweet spot. Let me finish. There's a sweet spot. Okay. You want to be around. You want to be involved. You want to show everyone that you give a crap. You don't want to be an absentee landlord. It's not investment property. You care. You care about it. You care enough to be involved enough to the limit of your ability. You don't usurp the authority of the people you've entrusted with the keys to your football operation. But that doesn't mean you have no say, you have no voice, after you've taken the information, it's your team. It's that at some point I think it's okay for the owner to be involved. There's a level where I think you should be involved. Otherwise, you create the impression that you're too detached from the fate of the organization. That's the sweet spot. It's not easy to find, but I think that's the sweet spot that every owner should aspire to be in.
I hear you. Well, but like if you're getting involved in the draft pick, you're not in the sweet spot. You're the annoying owner that says too much and doesn't know enough about football. You know, history has shown us
there's a sweet spot.
Yeah, right. I mean, look, we can look at one owner right now and go, wait, there's one owner that's involved in everything, and they can't get to the NFC Championship game for 3 decades, right? So
he's the general manager too.
I know. I'm just saying, he's still the owner.
He gave himself the title.
I know. Well, he's an expert in everything, like all billionaires. He knows oil, he knows football, he knows politics, he knows everything. Right? So there's nothing we can do. We just got to listen to it. So, but I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's right. Again, he won 3 Super Bowls doing it the other way, just sitting back going, let me listen to the experts, right? And that's where I still think is the greatest franchise in history. You're right. They found the sweet spot, right? DeBartolo, he knew how to push Bill Walsh's buttons. He trusted Bill Walsh, but he knew how to push his buttons to make him coach the team harder, right? There's that. And then even Mr. Kraft with Bill Belichick. Same thing maybe. You know, he's hovering around. He lets his thoughts be known. He's keeping things on. But he's never going to get too involved and not let Bill Belichick, who he knows is the man in this department, do those type of things. I think we can go even to Art Rooney in the 70s. It'd be very similar to that as well. So you're right. There's a sweet spot. And like with Cal McNair in this one, Mike, to like your point, yeah, you'd be chopping off the leg of power already for your new GM and your new head coach right away to go, oh, wait, now I hired you, I trust you, you run football, but I'm going to tell you who to pick here. I know it's not a new GM, it's a new head coach, but yeah, I just don't love that aspect or wouldn't want an owner intruding too much, I guess is what I'm saying.
And here's the other reality, and this is one of the things that fascinates me and that I love about covering the NFL. You've got these multi-billion-dollar businesses that are finely tuned and equipped with high-level achievers who are responsible for everything, things that we know about, things we don't know about, things we think of, things we don't think of, and then they're ultimately owned and operated by monarchies where Cal McNair had to pass no test whatsoever other than DNA to become the owner of the Houston Texans. He inherited it from his dad. He has no qualification objectively to own or operate an NFL team. He has no experience owning and operating a team other than that which he got the moment his dad died and he got the keys to the car. That's fascinating to me because there's no guarantee that the kid is going to know what he's doing. And look at what the Texans have been in the early years of Cal McNair's tenure. I would say, as objectively as possible, there has been little evidence that Cal knows what he's doing. So maybe the best move he's ever made is to go hide under the bed when it was time to make the pick. Maybe he should stay completely out of it because if he's been involved in it and the whole Jack Easterby thing and he was under his spell in this weird sort of way and it hasn't gone well for Cal McNair. No. And this is the opportunity for it to finally turn around.
That's right. And I think, again, I know it's not always foolproof, but, I think we're saying the same thing. Sweet spot, whatever. The teams that have been the most successful seem to have an owner that knows how to support the head coach and do that. Whether that's Stan Kroenke and the Rams and what we've seen. We see Jeffrey Leary and the Eagles going on right now. The Chiefs and all that. Like you said, there's that sweet spot there. And I think there is something to that. And, I'll give Cal McNair credit for not getting involved and letting his opinion maybe known too strongly there, which is easy to do. Like you said, he's a billionaire. He owns a team. It's his right to do it. And it's the number 2 pick and it's business and all that type of stuff. But, again, I think through history, we've seen it better when the owner knows how to kind of let the football people do the football thing and they can kind of guide off of that a little bit.
It's the one thing that doesn't get discussed nearly enough. The fans are stuck with the owner. The team is stuck with the owner until the owner decides to sell or the owner moves on to the great skybox in the sky. But the reality is there isn't a damn thing you can do. Jed York said it 8-9 years ago when the 49ers were in their annual dysfunction. You can't fire the owner of the team. No, you can't, but sometimes you wish you could. And sometimes you wish that somebody would just cash out and move on. Hey, Cal, why not sell to Jeff Bezos? He's a Houston native. Sell to somebody. And there's no guarantee. We just assume Jeff Bezos is going to be some franchise saver. There's no guarantee he knows what he's doing either, that he'll find the sweet spot. Maybe he'll decide, I've been successful at everything else. I sell books. I launch rockets. I can figure out how to run a football team. Let me make myself the general manager of the team. Who knows what Bezos is gonna want to do if he ever owns a team. So that's part of the fun of this, but it's also got to be very frustrating for a fan of a team that you have to deal with an owner who may not be fit to be an owner of anything, much less a football team. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.